Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Dipankar and in this video we are going to talk about Dataraptor extract actions. So I hope you have watched my previous video in which I have explained you about Dataraptor turbo extract. So basically in the Dataraptor turbo extract we were only able to get the data from a single Salesforce object. So if you want to get the data from multiple Salesforce object, so we have to use Dataraptor extract actions. So let's go to Dataraptors, and if I want to create a new Dataraptor, I have to click on this new button, and in the interface type there are 4 types that I have already explained you in the previous video. You can go and watch that as well. And let's select extract for this time. Let's suppose I want to extract the account and contact details both. I'll name it to dr extract account contact details, right? So interface type is extract, input type is JSON, output type is we can select both JSON and XML. Let's go with JSON, and I will also explain you about XML. Let's click on save. So if you see here, there are 5 tabs, right? In the Dataraptor turbo extract there was no output and of formulas, right? So here we can build our own formulas and output. Let's try to get the data from the accounts. In the Dataraptor turbo extract we are getting the data from the accounts, right? So let's get the data from accounts, then we'll jump to contacts as well. So here if you see, I can select the account. The extract output path I can rename it to anything. It's not mandatory that you give the account. And let's say we want the account whose ID should be equal to whatever the account ID we are passing it. This account ID is just a variable name, right? And the second thing is we have to configure our output. In the Dataraptor turbo extract, we are able to get all the things just by selecting on them and clicking on the right arrow. But here we have to do it manually. So let's do it for one field. Let's see if we are getting the account ID or not. We'll give the account ID, then in the let me show you the Dataraptor turbo extract when telling it as account details ID, right? So let's do it. I'll rename it to account details colon ID, right? And let's say I want to get another field. Let me say I want to get the account name, right? So let me search for the name. Account name should be account details colon name. Please notice it here I am writing colon, not a dot. I'll explain when you have to use dot and when you have to use colon. So now there are only 2 fields. Let's try to find out if we are able to get these 2 fields data over here or not. So I have mentioned you that I have getting the account ID in the name of the variable account ID. So in the preview, in the key, let's add the account ID, and this account ID should be equals to the account ID. Let's go to the other tab. Let's copy the account ID for acme and paste it over here, and let me click on execute. You can see account details name and ID are present over here, but there is a trade-off, right? If I want to get account ID and name, I can do it manually, but let's say I want to get multiple fields, right? So that I can do. And second thing is that there is also a chance of typo that we can see. I have seen here account details D in small and here in the account details D in cap, and that's why I am getting the name and details here, but this is a typo, right? We should not be doing this, right? So what I can do here is that either I can go and fix it manually, right? Of course it understands that it gave the node into account details, but we should not be doing this, right? So the second thing is, let me get the shipping street, city, postal code values, right? So I am not gonna do it manually, right? You can see if I gonna do it manually, there is a possibility that I can go and make some typo, and that gives us some unexpected results. So to do that, I can come here, right? Whatever the outputs I am passing expecting, I can write it over here. So and I can match it. I'll show you how to do that. So let's say I also need shipping street. Shipping street. I'll just write whatever the data I need. Shipping postal code. Maybe shipping city. Also industry, right? Maybe ownership. I can also get shipping country as well. Right, so I want to get all this data, right? So if I gonna do it or and write it over here manually, I might face some typo and I get some unexpected results. So to get our data, there is something called quick match. Let's click on that. I can see this is the data that I want to get, and this is the input fields, means this is the fields from the account object. Let's suppose I want to get another field. Let me see that created by name, right? I also want to see who created this account. That's it. And let's click on quick match again, right? So there is one more thing. If you click on auto match, it will automatically try to match whatever the data it understood. Let me click on auto match. You can see it automatically match 4 fields, but there are 3 fields that it was not able to match, right? So let's do that. Let's select the shipping street first. So shipping street, I am matching it, and for the county, I think it should be country, right? So let me save this until now, and let me go and change it to country, and let me click on quick match again, and let's click on auto match. You can see it automatically match. So there is also I want to know the person who created this account, right? So let me see if I get something created by okay, so created by ID I am getting, but I want the name, right? For now let's match it to name, and I'll explain in a bit how we can get the created by name. So let's click on preview, and before clicking on preview, you can see that we are also getting all these details, right? I don't have to write it manually. So let's execute this. All right, we see all these things except this created by name. For created by name, we are getting the ID, right? To get the name, let's modify it. So for the created by name, it should be the same thing that you use in SQL. So here, if you see, I have written colon over here, but since this is a SQL, I have to write created by dot name, and let's click on preview. You can see the created by name is coming in my name, the person who has created this account. So this is one more thing. This same thing we are also able to get in Dataraptor Turbo Extract, and we are getting it much faster, and we don't have to configure it, right? So if you are doing the same thing, then why are you using Dataraptor, right? But I have explained you in Dataraptor extract action, I can get the data from the contacts and other related objects as well, but I can get this in Dataraptor Turbo Extract. So let's try to find out how I can get the contact related to this account, right? So to do that, let me click on add an extract step, and in this extract step, I'll write contacts. I'll write contact. In the extract output path, I can name it to contact, or I can name to contacts, whatever whatever our wish, we can name that as well. So the account ID should match to this account ID, right? The account ID that we are passing. Now similarly, let's do the same thing for contacts. I'll just copy it, and I'll just copy this thing over here, and let's copy the account details. For the contact, change it to contact details, and we don't need all these things. I need contact name, and I need account ID. I also need contact ID. Then first name, then last name, let's try to get phone and email as well. So basically, if you have see, I'm getting phone, email, first name, last name, contact ID, account ID, and the contact name. So let's again try to quick match it instead of manually writing it over here, because we know that we might do some typo and we might get some unexpected results. Let's click on quick match and let's click on auto match first. So it quickly matched 4 fields and there are 3 fields that I have to match. So let's search in the left for the contacts. Let's go for the ID. I'll match it to ID. I'll drop it over here. It got selected in this tab. So for the name, I am selecting contact name. This last name, this is a typo, right? So that's why it didn't match. So let me change it over here and let's click on quick match and let's try to auto match. It got matched over here. Let's click on save, right? So this is one thing, and if I execute it, you can see it gave me all the contacts, right? And there is another important thing. If you see on the right side, there is something called debug log. It wrote 2 queries. The first, it getting the data from account based on the account ID that I am passing over here, and in the second query, it is getting the contacts based on the account ID that I am passing out over here, and it says that it found only one account, so that's why there is a single account. And for the second thing, it says that it found 10 contacts, right? If I minimize it, 1 2 3 4, then 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, right? So it got 10 contacts. So that's all about Dataraptor extract action. I have extracted the data and we are extracted in the JSON format, right? So what if I want to extract in the XML format? Let's quickly clone it and change the name it to something else, details XML, and let's click on save, right? And one more thing, let's click on edit. We want the output type as XML as well, right? So I'll click on save. So we are doing this, right? But from what I know, we should be ideally getting the error, right? It says the XML is invalid. Invalid means the reason because it is invalid, it does not have a root tag, right? So we have to create a root tag for it. So let me click on copy this and let me click on paste over here, and let's click a new root tag. I'll name it to all data. I'll copy it and I'll paste it over. And it also says the contact details, right? So for the contact details, it should give the details of the contact. Basically we might again face the error because the contact details is an array, right? So we have to change this to something like contact details, and for each contact, right, we have to get the fields, right? So let me click on paste. So this is the data we are trying to get. So now you see the XML is a valid XML, right? And if I click on quick match, right, so basically I have to remove everything because I might get error. So for the account shipping postal codes, let me try to manually drag it down. So for postal code, it is there, street is there, let me drag country to country, then city to city. I think only ownership is there. I'll click on ownership. Okay, we also want to get the name and industry, right? And what else? Created by name. Okay, and we also get to ID, right? All right, I think created by name, this is wrong. It actually messed up because I have copied it. So not an issue. Let me filter it using all data. For the created by name, let's map it to this, and ID to the account ID. And now we are left with the contact details, right? So let me select the contact, and for the account ID I can do that. Else we need the ID, contact ID. This is, there is ID. For the name, let's see how I can get the name. Let's go to N. Yes, there is name. Email, let's select email, and there should be first name, there it is, last name, here it is, and the phone with the phone, right? So basically let's now click on save. So if you see, we don't have to, even we deleted everything, we don't have to do manually, right? We just had modified our XML little bit and we are able to map it, right? So basically let me explain again. So the region, this was showing us the invalid data because the XML should have a root tag, right? But before that there was no root tag, and if you ignore this all data for now, it was coming in the two tags, right? These two tags must have a root tag. This is required for the XML to be a valid XML, right? So now let's click on preview. If you see, we are getting this, right? And I think there is another mistake. For the contact details, for contact it gave 10 account IDs at a single place instead of one by one, right? So let me try to fix that. So for these things we don't need this text part, right? So I can do one thing. For the contact, let me remove the text part. Let's, sometimes if you don't pay attention, I think I missed it somewhere else, so I have to do it manually, but no worries. We still don't have to write all these things manually. I am just deleting some things. And let's go on. Right, contact details, right? Let me click on pre-execute once. Let's see. If you see, for each contacts I am getting the value over here, right? Contact 1, contact 2, contact 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, right? So this is all about how you can get the data in XML format, right? But if you also see in the debug log, it gave the same query. It just formatted your data in an XML format. The same two queries that we are getting in the other Dataraptor. Let me open the other Dataraptor so that I can explain the difference, right? So basically, if I preview it over here, there is account details and there is contact details, right? But in the XML format, there is first all data as a root tag. Inside there is account details and there is contact details, right? So same thing, if I'm gonna edit it and I have to make it to XML, I'll get the error for sure, right? Because there is no root tag. It says invalid XML, right? In JSON it is fine, but in XML it is invalid, right? So let me click in edit and make it to JSON format, right? And execute it. You can see there is no error. But to fix the error, we have to do something like that, to make a root tag, and inside the root tag we have to make the elements, and we have to place all the other elements, right? So again, for the contact details, I have done the same thing. Contact details gives us an array, and inside each array, for each contact, I have to make another tag, right? So this is all about Dataraptor extraction, how we can extract the data in both JSON and XML format. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.